I'm Doug, your tech support representative in Atlantic British, and in this video we're going to touch base again on one of our maintenance kits that we have available on our part of our Maintenance and Repair Academy, which you'll see listed on our website. This particular kit is for the 02 to 05 Freelander. This is the front and rear brake hoses along with enough brake fluid to do a complete flush on your brake system. Now this is a recommended service every 105,000 miles. These hoses do, over a period of time, they do break down. The coating, the rubber, does end up drying up. You can get cracking. So it is generally recommended that, especially with brakes, you want to do these on a regular basis. And again, every 105,000 miles is a good mileage. Now, you have, with the kit, the 2 front hoses, 2 rear hoses, and definitely enough fluid to not only bleed the system but to do a complete flush on it, which is also a maintenance item that's even recommended in Land Rover's maintenance sheet for the Freelander. Fresh fluid can make a huge difference. Brake fluid is designed to hold condensation, moisture, and dirt from building up in the system, but it basically is designed so that it continues to float within the fluid. So you want to get that stuff flushed out of there, just like any other petroleum-based fluid. So we've shown you the kit, and now we're going to raise this vehicle and we're going to show you basic locations of the hoses and some brief instructions on how to change them over. So we have this Freelander, we put it up in the air on the lift, we've taken the right front wheel off. Now before you even attempt to take the hoses off of this, the first thing you want to do is you want to check the bleeder screws on the caliper. You should have a little dust cap over the front of that. This is your bleeder screw. You want to make sure that that opens, because once you've replaced the hose, you're going to need to bleed the system. And of course, if you can't get this open, it's going to make that rather difficult. So first thing we do is we've checked that, we know the bleeder opens, so now we're going to attempt to change the hose. You'll see the replacement hose basically is configured just as the original. You have essentially a pull clip that you can grab with a pair of water pump pliers, a pair of slip joint pliers. You can also pull the wiring out of the way. This is for the wheel speed sensor. That'll give you a little more swing room and also lessen the chance of damaging this wire at the same time. And what you have is a 10mm flare nut on the end of the brake line coming down in that attaches to the hose. You're going to leave the clip in first, and I would suggest you use a flare nut wrench as opposed to a open end wrench. An open end wrench more than likely will just round off the edges of the nut, making it more difficult to take off. A flare nut wrench will grab it at 6 points and cause less flex of the nut, and generally does a better job in removing them. So you're going to take that nut off. You're going to pull this clip out, which is just simply grab with a pair of pliers, wiggle and pull. You've pulled your wire out of your 2 retainer clips, which no need to worry about taking them off the original hose. They come with the replacement. You have another pull clip right here, and that's going to come off the same way as the top. Just simply grab both sides of the tang with a pair of pliers, wiggle and pull, and it will come out. And then down at the bottom you have a banjo fitting, which is essentially a bolt with a hole drilled through it so that it can transfer fluid. And there will be 2 copper washers on both sides. You can discard the bolt and the 2 copper washers because you're going to get new with the replacement hose. Now take into account, once you've taken this off and you go to put the new hose in, any surfaces that are going to mate or connect, you want to make sure you've cleaned off very well. Especially in the case with the copper washers, you want to make sure that those surfaces are clean and dry, no pieces of rust or debris on them and whatnot when you tighten down. You really don't need any leaks when you're done. So that's essentially the assembly for the front. This is going to sit just the same way. Connectors line up, length is the same. Just that easy. So now we're going to move to the rear, and we're going to show you just the basic locations and what you need to do to change the rear hose. So now we've moved to the back, and we have the right rear wheel off. Now we chose the right side for a reason, because the left side, both ends of the line are fairly open and easy to get at. But on the right side you're going to have a small obstruction, so I want to show you how to get around that. So we're going to start towards the back, and essentially you have right here another 10mm flare nut on a solid brake line, and then your end of your hose right there. Now this one, you could get it with a pair of pliers. It'd be a little difficult. I find just running a large screwdriver in there and then giving a twist lifts that clip right out of place. You put your hand underneath and lift up a little bit, and there's your clip. This is the same style clip that you're going to find in the front. And just to show you, for those of you that aren't clear on what a flare nut wrench is, you can see definitely the difference between a flare nut wrench and a regular open end wrench. You got 6 points of contact. It just very little flex in the nut. You got a better chance of breaking that loose and working that off. And again, you want to make sure that you've taken the cap off the bleeder and check the bleeder screw to make sure that it does open, so that when you get into your bleeding, you're not going to be caught having a system full of air and not being able to get it out. So essentially that's this end. Take your nut off, remove your clip, and then we're going to move around to the other side so that we can show you our little obstruction there. Alright, you'll notice right here you've got the back end of the charcoal canister for your evaporative system right in front of where the brake line comes out. Now again, like I mentioned, on the left side you don't have this, so you've got better access to it. But it is a quick disconnect, and you have a squeeze tab here and one identical to the other side where you can just put your hand in, and you want to rock it back and forth a little bit, which will help loosen things up a little bit, but you've got to depress those back tabs until they completely release. And then working back and forth, you'll be able to pop that off. Alright, so we've popped off the one main lead going into the back of the charcoal canister. The smaller one you don't need to. You got enough swing room. And then we'll just pop this wire out. This is for the rear wheel speed sensor. And we'll tuck that out of the way. So essentially left with, again, 10mm flare nut on the brake line. Pull that clip out just like you did on the back side and also on the front. All the clips are the same. And drop your hose out. You may need to, sometimes the rust will hold them in place, so just give them a few taps and that'll pop right out of there. You'll find that the replacement hose is the exact length as the original, plus you still have the clip right here so that you can retain your wheel speed sensor wire so it doesn't run or get close to any moving material or mechanisms back here. We don't want that rubbing. And that's pretty much it. It's just a matter of 2 nuts on each end. Pop this clip out. The left side, you don't have to worry about that. This won't be there. Definitely easier access. So when done, you want to go up, you want to make sure that you top off the fluid in your master cylinder and do a complete bleed all the way around the vehicle. It's usually easiest if you don't have any of the special tools that are out there today. There are vacuum tools, there are electric pump tools, or you can just do it the old-fashioned ways, have an assistant or a friend pump the brake pedal while you're bleeding the air out. Always keep an eye on your fluid level in your master cylinder. You don't want to run it dry, then you end up starting all over again and entering air into the system. You get enough fluid with the system, with the hoses, so that you can do a complete flush, which is generally recommended, because just like any fluid, especially petroleum base, brake fluid does break down. It retains moisture, it retains condensation. You want to get that out of there and have fresh fluid in the system. It makes a world of difference on the performance of the brakes. So when you're ready to change over the hoses on your 02 to 05 Freelander, give a call to any of our knowledgeable salesmen at 1-800-533-2210. And thanks for watching.